What's up, guys? Welcome back to Ted Rath's weekly NFL tips. Spending about 16 years within the NFL in a number of different roles, I'm going to use some of my expertise to help you learn about your favorite team, learn about some of your fantasy implications, and how we can attack this week. Let's start off with the first player, Jordan Love. Hot player since week one, obviously got injured in Brazil. Is he going to be back? This week, you're still going to look at very limited mobility, trying to rehab and trying to get that thing back. Lower body injuries for a quarterback, especially someone who relies a lot on their mobility, this is going to be an issue. So we'll get to it at the end of the video. Should we start him? Should we sit him? I know this, if they do play him, and there is a little bit of added intensity here because Coach Matt LaFleur used to work for the Tennessee Titans. Even when you leave a team on good terms, there's always still that little extra, oh man, I really want to win this game. So will that play a role in them maybe pushing Jordan out there? But I know Jordan's trying to play right now too. So keep an eye on this one. We'll tell you whether we should sit or start him later on in this video, so stay tuned. Let's talk about the next player. This is a very interesting one, Justin Herbert. Why is this interesting? Number one, high ankle sprain. Very painful injury, but I know this. Justin has played through injuries before. He's a very tough football player. Great kid. They love him in that locker room. But here's the interesting thing. This team stayed in Charlotte for the week. They played against the Panthers, and then they're going to transition into Pittsburgh. They're going to travel up to Pittsburgh today on Saturday. So how does that impact him? He didn't have access to his typical training room. NFL facilities have all the bells and whistles, all the gadgets. Their full staff obviously would travel with him, but they're going to be limited on some of those technological advancements and some of those things that they might have back at that incredible facility out in Los Angeles. And the other thing to keep in mind here, once again, similar to Jordan Love, lower extremity injury for a quarterback, this is going to be impactful. Why? That Steelers interior defensive line is going to be humming. They're going to come after him. They're going to apply pressure. So if he plays, you've got to keep that in mind. And that's also going to have an impact on the rest of the team. So are you looking at a running back, maybe starting them and looking at the impact, because are they going to have to rely more heavily on the running game because of the limitations in mobility, even if Justin plays? So should we sit him or start him? Stay tuned till the end. Another one. Very impactful player here. So as we transition into another position, tight end, Jake Ferguson. This is a big game. Why? They have a severe matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. Very tough defense. The Ravens really need this win at a critical time in the season early on. Jake Ferguson should be able to play in this game. Should we sit him? Should we start him? Let's talk about it. Going back to Jordan Love, I'm going to say sit him. That mobility is going to be impacted significantly if he does play. Moving on to Justin Herbert, I'm also going to say sit him. Why? Because he will be heavily impacted. And once again, reminder that Steelers defense is going to be humming. The Steelers defense is playing incredible. Actually, both defenses. So you look at this matchup, very, very, very interesting matchup because both defenses are giving up the least amount of points in the NFL. So once again, is that going to shift you if you're a fantasy owner to relying more on that running game and maybe starting a running back within this game? Keep an eye on that, but keep an eye on this game because of those two defenses. And then Jake Ferguson. I'm going to start him. I'm going to lay him out there. He needs a big game. Dak Prescott is going to rely on him kind of as his safety valve, and we've seen the production that this player can have. He's an important one. Now, team tip of the week. This is an interesting one. Why? Because the team has been completely destroyed by injuries. The 49ers. They're putting guys on IR left and right, but they're losing guys through the middle of the week. So now without a guy like George Kittle, that's going to significantly impact the rest of the team, specifically Brock Purdy. This could also be an impact on Brock Purdy because they're going to have to rely on him. They're going to put a lot of pressure on him. They're traveling into Los Angeles. They're playing the Rams. This is the good news for them because if there's a team that's battling more injury plague, it's probably the Rams. The Rams they lost Cooper Kupp last week. You look at the continuation of the impact on them. They're still missing a significant number of their offensive linemen. It's going to be hard for them to protect Matthew Stafford. So I think look for Brock Purdy to probably have a big game. Look for the 49ers. They're favored in this game to come in with a heavy fanfare. They travel well. Those fans will come into SoFi Stadium in LA. I think this is going to be a good game, maybe a little bit more higher scoring because you're going to have some of those younger guys step up. I think Brock Purdy might be a safe bet to start at quarterback position, but keep an eye on both of these teams because they are both heavily impacted by injuries. That's why early on in the year, you got to continue to watch these injury numbers as they stack up, and this is going to play a role later in the year because the Rams are running out of designations to return from their injured reserve list already. Keep an eye, hit like, hit subscribe, enjoy the games this week. Keep tuning in.